Would you say that 50% of the problems in any relationship are you?
What do you mean?
So, like, I think it's very easy to look at the other person and just blame, not everything, because I think most reasonable people will be like, I got these, like, at least this is how I have felt, where I would be like, yeah, I know I've got, like, ABC,
Yeah.
but, like, let's be honest, it's more 75-25, you're the issue.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Is it more?
Well, that's
I think a lot of people feel like
well,
that.
It's really fascinating to me because I talk about this a lot with my clients because people are either one of two things, right? They're either very, very inclined to blame themselves for everything, right? They want to take, because there's something that's like the
Definitely
control.
not me.
Yeah. And it's different. It's not, people aren't black and white. So it's not like maybe in relationships you're this way, but in real life or in like work or other things you're not. But generally the way and it has to do with confidence, but generally people are usually, I blame myself for everything and everything's my fault and I am the reason that this happened or didn't happen or whatever, or they're the opposite where they're like, it's your fault and they're pointing fingers all the time. They don't take responsibility. And my job a lot of the time when I'm working with a patient or a client or whatever you want to call them, it's me bringing them towards the middle, right? Like, that's not your fault. This is what you can control. This is what you cannot, right?
So I think you just said something really interesting that kind of piqued my mind. You were talking about confidence, or let's call that ego or self-esteem. Maybe, I don't know if those are different, but
yeah.
So, and you said it differs how you take blame or give blame, right? So I'll give you an example. In work settings, I've typically been super confident.
I've experienced that. You
Never
are very
had,
confident.
but I don't have any issue if I fuck up taking blame. And I feel like I'm more inclined to take blame for things even when I don't feel like it's totally my fault, because I know I have confidence in my ability to perform.
Right. You're secure in your ability to work.
Yeah. And so if I mess something up, I can be like, I fucked this up. Or if I feel like somebody else messed up, but like it's not worth calling them out, like on a call, maybe I try to bring a little bit of the blame onto myself. In a relationship, for whatever reason, because I'm very confident, I've a good social circle, always been confident with friends, work, never been as confident with women in terms of a relationship.
Why do you think
and
that is?
Find myself, let me just finish this and I'll answer that. And find myself much less inclined to take blame for things in a relationship. Why that is, I don't know.
I do. Confidence.
I don't know why I lack the confidence. Going back to your question.
Yeah.
In relationships, where in other aspects of my life, I don't even think about, like, I've never thought like, I wonder if my friends like really like me, or like, I wonder if I'm doing well at work. It's like, no, my friends invite me to hang out all the time. They're my friends. I do well in work, or I just got, especially like work or school, like school especially, super easy to measure, right? Like you either got an A or B or C, and I always managed to get A's and B's. And so I was like, yeah, I'm good at school, confident.
So tell me this, say things don't work out with women specifically, like in a relationship, if it doesn't work out, what does that tell you? What is the narrative in your head?
I think it depends on the context. So like, that's too broad. I can answer that, but you're gonna have to narrow it down for me.
Okay,
like it depends on why. It depends on why it didn't work out.
Okay, so I'm saying, like, from your perspective, I am rejected by a female, or this relationship doesn't work out. What does that tell you? Like, what is the narrative in your head?
If they rejected me, if I really like them, usually it's me. If I don't like them that much, I'm just like, whatever. Like, it wasn't meant to be. So if there's a girl I really like and I'm attracted to and get rejected by, that's like, I mean, it's biology, right? It's like, yeah, you're a good guy, but I don't like you you're not good enough to like pass your genetics on to the next generation. You're not good enough.
That's the narrative.
If it's a girl that I don't like that much, it's kind of like, well, I don't really care about your opinion that much anyway.
Right. But that's different. But like fundamentally, what you're afraid of is someone confirming the belief that you're not good enough. That is what you're...
So I've spent a lot of time trying to get over that fear of rejection.
Right. But you are confident in the fact that you're good enough at work. You are not confident in the fact that you are good enough for a relationship or a woman, right? That's the difference.
Sometimes, yeah. But what's funny about it is then once I get into the relationship, it's like there's this where I'm like, you need to pick your game up type thing. Does that make sense? To the other person. Where like I have these very high expectations, but at the same time of them, but also maybe don't feel...
But you're projecting your own insecurity onto them at that point.
Okay, let's dive into that. Elaborate.
Like, do you do that at work to people? Like when you start working with somebody, you're like, oh, super excited to work with you. And then do you start like nitpicking how they work? And
no.
Yeah, because you're not insecure at work, right? So like when we project our own insecurities on other people, that's what's happening with you. Like you're like, I don't feel good enough.
And
so
projecting,
you need to,
for people who don't know, can you just explain that a little bit? I feel like most people know, but
like projecting?
Yeah, what is it exactly?
So it's really interesting because like the things that we really like about other people are usually things that we really like about ourselves. And the things that we don't like about other people are usually the things we don't like about ourselves, right? So like when you really don't like somebody, there's probably something in that person that reminds you of you or reminds you like of something in yourself that you don't like or something that you don't have.
Is that yeah, is it jealousy part of that too? Like
sure.
when you say it's something you don't have?
That's one way it presents, jealousy. But like, I'm trying to think of somebody I really don't like. So there's like, yeah, there's someone that I went to high school that I really don't like. But the reason that I don't like this person, let's tag them.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't like this person is because first of all, they're very similar to me. It's very fascinating. And there's things that they do that I don't like that I do. And I'm like, it takes a while to like really kind of analyze that. Like you have to really be self-aware, not like I'm calling myself self-aware, but like you have to really understand like, oh, this person's like very confident to the point of like almost like narcissism. And that's kind of how I am, like, and the reasons that I don't, for instance, like the things about my dad that I don't like, the reasons I don't get along with my dad are I'm so similar to my dad. Like we are so similar, and the things that he does that I hate, I know that I do those, right? Like
things that piss you off about somebody in a relationship, is that also true for people you're dating?
What do you mean?
Well, if somebody's, I don't know, let's pick an example. Somebody doesn't wash the dishes. I don't know, something stupid, menial. Does that mean I don't wash the dishes very much? Or is it like...
No, but what that tells you, right? Like when someone doesn't do things like that, like you're not upset because the dishes aren't washed. You're upset because in your mind, the narrative is this person doesn't care about me. This person doesn't think about me. This person doesn't do things. You know what I mean? Because that's like what that means, right? Like is
it that, or that you're just like annoyed that it's dirty? Or is it both?
No, it's always deeper than that, right? Like, yeah, it's annoying that things are dirty, but it's like, when, like, for instance, like if somebody doesn't pick up after themselves, they didn't think that I would want to, like, they thought I would do this, or like they didn't think that
or like, did they just think it was okay to leave it or not take care of things?
Right. It's like the idea of like, you didn't think about me, you did something without me in mind, and you didn't think it would affect me. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's like the majority of, it's communication, right? Like it's a majority of communication issues in relationships or just with people in general. It's like this is my favorite thing to tell my patients when they're learning how to have healthy communication with people is the story, you doing this, the story I'm telling myself is my favorite thing. Like, so the story I'm telling myself is that you don't love me because you didn't clean up after yourself. And that means you didn't think about me.
That's not conscious though, right? Because like I would never,